but they've never announced it, and I don't think they'll ever acknowledge that it exists. But I think it does exist. They just don't tell anyone that it exists on YouTube. So what I'm saying might already exist on YouTube, and I don't know if anyone's noticed if the comments on YouTube have improved over time. I mean, I only visit like a few channels usually just to kind of watch the stuff I'm interested in. Like, so NASA, like I was kind of watching NASA content for a while, and for a period of time there were a bunch of science deniers spamming in the NASA videos, and it was kind of bad for like a few days, maybe like a week. So some conspiracy blogs just got a bunch of people to come into the NASA videos and just kind of spam conspiracy nonsense. And it was bad for a while, and then after a while it kind of died down and disappeared. And I don't know what it is, right? So I mean, there are a number of possibilities for why it went away after a while. Partly maybe the conspiracy nuts just got tired of it. That's one possibility. Maybe NASA put more effort into moderating the comments on their videos. That's another possibility. Or YouTube, after people flagging these comments for being offensive, because some of them were, they were basically insulting NASA employees. So maybe after enough of them got flagged for inappropriateness, whatever algorithm YouTube runs to moderate the comments, maybe that eventually blocked them. But whatever it is exactly, I can't tell, and I'm not privy to that information. So I've noticed stuff like this happening every now and then on YouTube. And I don't know, to me, it seems like the comments on YouTube have become less visibly toxic compared to maybe like a few years ago. And I don't know if it's just me. And I guess only Google knows what they're doing behind the scenes. But as I say, you can flag things for being offensive. And sometimes, when I try to post certain things that are deliberately controversial, it would just fail to post for no discernible reason. And then when I rephrase it, it will post. I have noticed that. But Google never says anything about it. And of course, if they do say anything about it, then everyone's gonna scream censorship because everyone's stupid. But like, but if they ever actually acknowledge they're doing that, then they just say, "Oh, censorship, censorship," because I have a right to be a douchebag to you, and you don't have a right to shut me up. Censorship. Yeah. Which would be interesting if they're doing that. And I think it's needed in more parts of the internet. Some newspaper outlets or news outlets have removed comment sections. I think The Guardian is the big one. Removed comment sections after a while, just because it's just toxic. I would argue that maybe it is insufficient moderation. But The Guardian is The Guardian, right? They believe in freedom of information. They support Edward Snowden, for example. And so I guess they can't really decide. Like, maybe they just don't like to ban people. Which, because they're The Guardian. But at the same time, they recognize just how toxic it is. So the argument goes that freedom of speech is not just being allowed to say whatever you want. Because if there's harassment in a space, that drives other people away. So anyone who is harassing other people is limiting the freedom of speech of those people who are being harassed, because it puts kind of emotional and psychological stress on them to prevent them from speaking freely. That's what bullying is, right? Bullying is is creating fear and pressure and psychological stress in people to stop them from acting freely. And it works psychologically as well as physically. And so verbal harassment is counter to free speech, which, the people who are harassing will say, well, I have a right to say what I want. But certain things, when you say them, prevent other people from saying what they want. Is the point I'm getting at. So the act of talking can stop other people from talking. Or I mean, spam is a easier example, right? So if you just kind of continuously copy and paste penis pictures, then and if you do it kind of frequently enough, you interrupt the conversation so much that other people can't talk to each other in the same space. It's like if there's like 4 people in an elevator, 2 people are trying to talk, but the 2 other people are just screaming at the top of their lungs the whole time. It's just it's just the whole time just screaming. So then the 2 people who want to talk, they can't actually hear each other because there's 2 crazy people next to them screaming in their ear. So the 2 screaming people, you might say, well, I have free speech. I'm exercising my freedom to scream loudly. But what those screamers are doing is they're preventing the other 2 from speaking, right? So that's kind of what spam is. Like when you go into Twitch chat and you just spam penises, it stops other people from entering the conversation. So your speech is impeding their speech, and so you're the one violating free speech by claiming to exercise your free speech. So it's complicated like that, right? It's like, like your freedom to do whatever you want is limited by other people's freedoms to do whatever they want. Like if your speech stops other people from speaking, then actually you can't do that. So what was I getting at? I forgot why I got to this point, but it was pretty funny. The 4 people in the elevator and 2 people were screaming. It's a pretty funny metaphor. Yeah. So the Guardian, I think in principle agrees with free speech, but they run into this problem where if they don't moderate their comment section, then the screamers will drown out the reasonable people, because reasonable people won't get into a shouting match, right? Like a sensible, reasonable person would not go into a comment section and get into a day-long shouting match with someone who isn't even replying to you anymore. They're just kind of saying random things now. Whereas unreasonable people would do that. So over time, the unreasonable people will drown out the reasonable people, in the chat room, if it's not fully moderated. Alright, let's get out of here, see what emeralds we can get out of this. And that's just the nature of the problem. And there's really not much you can do to get around this unless you moderate heavily. I wish I knew what YouTube really was doing behind the scenes. I think it's quite interesting. I think it would be quite interesting to find out. Just because I do think they actually have a learning AI trying to recognize the abuse, because they have the flag, like you can flag things for being appropriate, for it being inappropriate. But I can't imagine they have human. Maybe it's a hybrid system. Maybe it's a hybrid system where a human works alongside with an AI, or like a number of humans work alongside with the AI to just double check whether or not it is abuse. But I do think that an AI would be able to figure this out. It's just a matter of time, right? Like you feed in enough examples of harassment, and it will eventually figure out what harassment looks like and be able to stop it as it happens. I'm pretty sure it's possible. As I said, like if you can teach it to drive cars and identify cancers, what is that pig doing up there? Okay, I can't have you standing on the train track like that. Anyway, let's go find our fetcher and our cleric. Oh hi! Why don't you consider green sparkles? Alright, don't. Green sparkles. Or don't. What else do you have? Well, redstone. Do I want to get redstone off you? Not really. I also don't really need this many emeralds. Farmer... no, not you. Where's the... Wait, there's two farmers. There's a second farmer. The baby grew up to be a farmer. We have a second farmer, yes. Alright, so what we're gonna do is... give you some carrots. And immediately unlock... green pixels. Alright, green pixels, good. Green sparkles, I mean. Alright, so now our second farmer is ready to make babies. Alright, no green sparkles. Really? Okay, green sparkles, good. Green sparkles from the fetcher, although the fetcher didn't have any new trades, huh? Alright, no new trades from the farmer guy. I should probably get more paper, because I think the paper was the person who... like the librarian, I think, was the person who made babies last time. Alright, so we have a second farmer, which is great. Let me put the stuff away. Alright, but... oh wait, arrows. Arrows is weapons. And that, and weapons. And that. Alright, paper. Wait a minute, paper. Let's see if we can get some green sparkles from the librarian. So now that we have two farmers, I think we can reliably... like if nothing else works, we can always just trade food and get more babies just from the farm. No, come back, what are you doing? Just from the farmers. Alright, paper. No green sparkles? Alright, let's try again. Alright, green sparkles, good. Do you have any new trades? Not really. Wait a minute. What's infinity? What's infinity? What is infinity? Loading, efficiency, silk touch, unbreaking, fortune, power, punch. Shooting consumes no arrows? Allows user to fire infinite arrows as long as they have one arrow in their inventory. Fired arrows cannot be retrieved except in creative mode. This only applies to normal arrows. A bow with infinity will still consume tipped and spectral arrows as usual. Infinite arrows? On your bow? And we can just like buy a bow and then... wait, no, come back. Where's the librarian? Because this trade, once it's here, we can do it all the time, right? We can just buy a bow, buy infinity, anvil them together, and just get infinite arrows. But we need at least one arrow in the bow to get started. That sounds awesome. If we like get unbreaking on the bow as well, that sounds awesome. We do have infinite string. Hey, infinity bow sounds awesome. Oh, hi. I see you. Let me just block you in. Let me just block you in. Actually, I can't. I need you to... I can't actually kill him like this, can I? Can drown him. I can't drop sand on him. From there, I don't think. Oops. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I can't drop sand on him because he's like right there. Okay, I need to break that block in order to drop sand on him. Alright, excuse me, I'm gonna kill this golem. Oh, nuts! It's not. This is not a block. Okay, I need to put it on the water, and then we have to fix the water again afterwards. This is complicated. Alright, we can drop it there. Alright, good. And we will have to fix the water. So let me get a bucket. The things we do for iron. Alright, let me get a bucket. Whoa, where did that go? That thing just flew over there. And, alright, so what was I saying before? I should probably finish my thoughts. Hey, where did the iron go? Wait a minute. Where did the... What the... It's not in my inventory. So, like... Oh, it's just there? Why did it look like it flew away? So regarding censorship, so you might say, well, you know, if Google has this unidentified algorithm that blocks certain comments from being posted, isn't that censorship? Isn't that stopping me from saying what I want to say? Well, I just want to point out again that every time that it has happened to me, I could just rephrase what I wanted to say and try again, and most of the time it would post. Like, I might have to like rephrase it maybe like twice, if that. So it's not really stopping me from saying what I want to say. It's just kind of, you know, getting in the way of how I'm phrasing it. So it's never really stopped me from expressing myself, is what I'm saying. I've never found myself, you know, unable to say what I want to say. I just had to say it with a slightly different sentence. So no, I've never encountered censorship on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, you know, despite having had messages fail to be posted, and I suspect it's because there's an AI saying that, well, that looks offensive to me. You're not allowed to say that. Despite that, still it is the case that I can just say what I want. I just have to like rephrase it. So there's that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna take a break here. We've done a lot of nothing. So we've what do? We chopped down some trees. We grabbed some resources. We made some green sparkles with the villagers. We're gonna get more villagers. All right. So, did the farmer have any new things to trade after I gave it the carrots? Did I check? So I guess when we come back in the next video, we are going to build the staircase. Because I think I've done enough procrastinating. Where are my farmers? I'm gonna double check what they have to trade. But I don't know where they are. Alright, here's one of them. Okay, it's this one. I can buy a pie. I can sell pumpkins. I can buy bread. Alright, so that's the second farmer. Alright, everything is looking great. What happened there? Everything looks great, and I will see you in the next video where we build staircases.